Welcome to the September 2024 edition of Upfront and Real, brought to you by Ohio Cooperative Living Magazine. I'm Karen Whitney, Director of Communications, and with me today is Pat O'Loughlin, our President and CEO.
Hi, Karen.
You talked about in your Upfront article in the September issue of the magazine that cooperation is a key component of how cooperatives in Ohio, around the country really, work together to make things work every minute of the day, every evening. Talk about that. What is that cooperation?
Yeah, so, we've got several principles that we operate under as cooperatives. There's 7 key ones that we refer to. Cooperation among cooperatives being one of them that has been so important to the history of our co-ops, to the success that we enjoy today. And I would say it's really part of the magic that makes cooperatives really be able to hit the sweet spot for our consumer members. It allows them to be small and local and yet still achieve scale in things where that's important. For example, they formed Buckeye Power because it's hard for every co-op to have their own generating resources or a portfolio, let alone, whereas by banding together, starting Buckeye Power, they can provide for the generation and transmission services that they need so that the local co-op can focus on managing that local system that's so important to their consumer members. And then there's just so many examples where co-ops have found ways to scale up things that are important. For instance, in the information technology area, they each have to have a way to bill customers, receive calls, keep track of their accounts. They could all have built 25 different versions of that, or they banded together, formed a couple of companies that do that for co-ops now across the country and really can provide best-in-class solutions for those kind of problems rather than everybody trying to do the best they can with the limited resources they have. And there's so many other examples. Cooperative Finance Corporation, or CFC, is a financing bank that really exists solely to finance electric cooperatives and their projects and their needs. And that, again, was just co-ops coming together, realizing that's a need that they all had and shared, and that they could work together and create the scale needed to do that type of an operation as well. And then there's several other examples that have been built up too.
What do you think over the years, as we've seen these additional cooperatives come along, what is the most beneficial to that end user, the member cooperative?
Yeah, well, I think it's what I started with. I think the most beneficial part is it allows their electric cooperative to remain locally controlled. It can have a manageable scale of operations in maybe a few counties. They don't have to be statewide or national or regional to be able to be competitive in these areas where it is important to be big. So it allows them to be big enough to be competitive, yet small enough to be local and to really be in tune with the needs of their community, which I think has really been the great success of electric co-ops. They're there for their members. The co-ops in northwestern Ohio and southeastern Ohio don't have all the same needs, don't have all the same requirements, but they know what their members need, and they're able to rise to meet those needs, and then be able to fill in around the things that are similar across the country with these cooperation among cooperative entities.
Do you see any future opportunity for cooperation maybe in different areas?
Yeah, so we've been doing this a long time, and I think most of the obvious choices have been covered. I think right now, as you're seeing some co-ops expand into broadband services, you're starting to see them coming together to help each other in that area. And again, it's not everywhere, but in the areas where it makes sense to scale up on a larger scale. I think the opportunity really for us is to be able to grow this idea outside just of our little community of cooperatives. For instance, we remain a very regulated industry in a lot of ways, and if we could gain a greater sense of cooperation and collaboration with the folks that regulate our industries, I think we can come up with better solutions. A lot of times they're familiar with the technical nature of their business, but not really with the job requirements that we have and what people ultimately need as far as service from us. And to the extent we could marry those ideas by cooperating rather than being as adversarial as we have been, I think we can come up with better regulations that work better for everybody.
That sounds like cooperation really does benefit that end user of the electricity.
It certainly can, and we've proven through our electric cooperative network that we can do it.
All right, Pat, thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Upfront and Real, and thank all of you for watching.